Hi, I'm Craig. Stay tuned for my comments after the video.
Hi, I'm Ben Mankiewicz. Thanks for joining me today on Turner Classic Movies. Every Sunday throughout December, we'll be bringing you a selection of family classics. We're going to kick things off with a milestone for Disney Studios, its very first live-action feature. It's a tale of pirates, parrots, and buried treasure, released in 1950, Treasure Island. In 1950, Disney had already been the world's preeminent animation studio for more than 2 decades. But this was Disney's first shot at creating a live-action feature. And, as there often is, it's a pretty good story behind Walt Disney trying his hand at live action. Following World War II, new restrictions in England prevented Disney from taking the sizable profits he made from his cartoons out of Great Britain. The money had to stay over there and be spent there. So Disney thought about setting up a new animation studio in England. But then he decided no, instead he would use the money made from his cartoons in Great Britain to produce a conventional live-action film. And Disney picked a pretty good story to tell. Based on a novel first published by Robert Louis Stevenson in 1883, it's the tale of a young boy who goes off in search of buried treasure, and before long he's on a ship full of pirates. From 1950, and featuring Bobby Driscoll and Robert Newton, it's Treasure Island.
John Silver, now what have you got to say for yourself?
Well, sir, by your leave, sir, John Silver's come back to do his duty. And happy I am to think, sir, that I had some small hand in saving young Master Arkins when he was within half a plank of death.
And does that clear you of the crime of mutiny?
Over the years, there have been dozens of movie and television versions of Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island. The first sound version from MGM was released in 1934, and that adaptation, starring Jackie Cooper and Wallace Beery, appears here on TCM from time to time. In the 1970s, Mr. Magoo went to Treasure Island. In the 1990s, the Muppets went hunting for buried treasure. And in 2002, Disney returned to this same story, set in space, with the animated Treasure Planet. And here's guessing we haven't seen the last of Long John Silver on the big screen. Coming up next, we've got more pirates. This time, they're threatening a family of castaways on a remote island in the Pacific.
Today on Turner Classic Movies, we're feeling a little mousy about our day of family classics, so we continue with Swiss Family Robinson. Then Kirk Douglas goes deep, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And young Tommy Kirk has some growing up to do in Old Yeller. TCM makes some noise today.
So we just watched a TCM intro and wrap up for Disney's Treasure Island as it was presented on TCM in 2008. This was the first Disney film TCM showed during a month-long series of movies called The Family Classics. Each Sunday in the month of December, TCM presented a number of classic Disney films in a row and gave little bits of the history and trivia surrounding each. The day made a lot of sense, and Sunday was the traditional day for The Wonderful World of Disney when it ran on network television. Disney films on TCM was still something new in 2008. As the story goes, Disney wanted to reduce licensing costs for using scenes from Warner Brothers films like The Wizard of Oz and Casablanca in their Florida attraction, The Great Movie Ride. Warner Brothers was interested in airing Disney films on Turner Classic Movies. Together, the two struck a deal. Disney provided a number of their old films to TCM and used the revenue to offset licensing fees for the ride. As a result, classic Disney movies started being broadcast on TCM. In 2014, the deal became formalized into a strategic partnership where TCM became the named sponsor of the Great Movie Ride. Treasure Island was an important film in Disney history as it was the first completely live-action feature-length Disney film ever produced. Before this movie, Disney films always had some animation, but Disney was no stranger to live action by 1950. He had experimented with it going all the way back to 1941 with a film called The Reluctant Dragon. The Reluctant Dragon and other films like Saludos Amigos in 1943, Song of the South in 1946, and So Dear to My Heart in 1949 mixed live action with animation. In fact, So Dear to My Heart would have been Disney's first fully live action film since the original version had no animation, but RKO, Disney's film distributor at the time, insisted Disney add animated segments, fearing the public would reject a Disney film that had no animation. Treasure Island was considered a success, bringing in a worldwide box office of $4.1 million against a budget of $1.8 million. In Great Britain, it was the sixth most popular film in 1950, but that same year, Disney's Cinderella brought in a staggering $34.1 million at the domestic box office alone. Walt Disney could have looked at those numbers and decided animation was the only way to go, but instead he used some of those incredible profits from Cinderella to actually expand his live-action efforts, producing such classics as 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Old Yeller, and Davy Crockett later in the 1950s. And here's another interesting note. Officially, The Black Hole is listed as the first Disney movie to receive a PG rating, but in 1975, when Disney was gearing up to re-release Treasure Island, they submitted it to the MPAA, and it received a PG rating. It had to be submitted since the rating system wasn't in place when the original was released in 1950. Disney had a strict rated G policy for their films in 1975, so they edited out 6 minutes of Treasure Island so it would get a G rating. So while the PG version wasn't actually released in 1975, Treasure Island was, in fact, the first Disney film to receive a PG rating. In 1991, Disney restored the original version, and it has been a PG-rated movie ever since. This video also included the TCM introduction and wrap-up from TCM host Ben Mankiewicz. The hosted introduction and wraps provided extra information about the movies. Sometimes they dealt with behind-the-scenes production, stars of the films, and critical and audience reception. They're a nice complement to the film and only enhance the viewing experience. It's little extras like this that give cable channels like TCM their personality and help bring viewers back again and again. Well, those are my comments for this video. If you like these retro videos, please subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up, click on the notification bell, and leave a comment. All these things really help the channel. Keep watching for more retro videos like this and other retro-themed videos like Retro Talk. Take care of yourself and look out for others. Talk to you later. Bye.
This video brought to you by StockAgogo.com, Stock Photos.